So the question is, Adios Pro or Alphafly? Well, I'm going to have to say Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a special versus video on two of the biggest super shoes arguably that you can get, or some of them you can get at the moment. I'm going to be doing the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro versus the Nike Alphafly. Today I'm going to be scoring it on value as always. I'm going to be adding in slightly different factors here for the versus. I'm going to be doing durability. I'm going to be doing just the fit and the feel of the shoe. So of course within these categories I will be talking about the midsoles of the shoes, I will be talking about the outsole as well as the upper. All those sorts of things will always be covered. I just don't necessarily score them as such, just encompass them into the scoring of the categories that I selected. Okay, so I just want to let you guys know that every single shoe that I own, I've bought myself, or it's been like a Christmas or birthday present. I have 33, 34 pairs of shoes that I still use, even more so that I've retired. Every single one of those shoes I've bought myself. Unfortunately, even though I've got so much shoe information, I don't seem to be being hit up. I'm not famous yet, so what's going on? No, I'm only joking. But yeah, so all of these reviews are honest. No one's paying me to make these reviews. I'm not getting the shoes for free. It's just what I think of the shoes. I'm talking about the shoes because I enjoy talking about shoes. It's just something that I'm really into. So yeah, that's out of the way. We'll get on with the review. The Adios Pro or the Adios No Pro? Is it the Alphafly or the Alpha Not Fly? Okay, so let's go through the shoes one at a time. We're going to start off with the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro, not to be confused with the Adidas Adizero Not Adios Pro, which is a slightly smaller stack height without all the super foam. This is Adidas's world record shoe at the moment, world record in the men's and women's half marathon, topping the Alphaflys and the Next percents at the moment. Does that mean that it makes it the best shoe or they've got the best athletes? That's up to you to decide. But so now we're going to go through some of the quick specs. Like I said, I always think it's important to talk about the specs of a shoe. Just gives you something to go by, whether you know, in case you like a certain heel to toe drop or something like that. So this shoe is barely legal in a men's size 8.5 or 9, whatever it is on the website. We have a 39mm stack in the heel. We have a 30.5mm stack in the front, which, if you're good at maths, gives you an 8.5mm heel to toe drop. Let's talk about this shoe in terms of weight. So, in my size 11.5, this is 275 grams, which translates to 9.6 ounces if you're into ounces or grams. So, even though I've got a lot of shoes, I like to use them all a lot. That's why this has got dirt on it. I'm not cleaning it for the video. This is what a shoe looks like when you're running it. I'll clean it if it looks absolutely disgusting, but this is all part of having a shoe. It's got to look used. So how many miles have I done in this shoe? I have done nearly 60 miles in this shoe. My fastest run in this shoe is a half marathon that I did when it was super duper windy, like along the seafront. It was mental, but I still did it in 1 hour 23, which at the time was a personal best. Okay, so the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro fits true to size. This is a size 11.5, and I have plenty of room in the toe box and plenty of room towards the end of the shoe. It's not too narrow, it's not too long. It's a pretty good fit. The upper fits nicely. The midsole, we have the Light Strike Pro material. This is really responsive, really soft, and I find it really stable. On the bottom here you have just some carbon rubber. You can see the energy rods that are going through the shoe. So this shoe has got, instead of a carbon fibre plate, you've got sort of some metatarsal rods that are carbon infused. Okay, so let's start off with value. This shoe, if you can get hold of it, which you literally can't, but let's pretend you can. If you could buy this shoe, it would cost you £169, which for a carbon fibre or carbon infused racer shoe, it's the cheapest one you can get, and also, in my opinion, one of the best you can get. Best looking, best performance, best feel. It's just a great shoe to run in. It just feels fun. You feel more in control of this shoe than you do in some of the Nike racing shoes. So that, in that respect, although it's not a cheap shoe, in terms of value for what this shoe is compared to the other shoes in the market that are the same level of this shoe or designed for the same purpose, I'm going to give this shoe a 4.5 out of 5. Now that's not because this is a cheap shoe as such. £170 is still expensive, and I'm not glorifying running shoes to be more expensive, but if we're looking at the Alphafly, which is almost £100 more than this shoe, you've got to give this a high score in terms of value. For the fit and feel of the shoe, we do have a Stellar Mesh upper. Not going to go into detail with that, other than the fact that it is quite a secure fit. It doesn't move about too much, but it's not something that makes your feet feel really sort of like all screwed in together. What does a midsole feel like? It feels brilliant. It's not sort of like soft and squishy. It does go in a little bit if we give it a little bit of a squeeze, but it feels really responsive. It does feel soft, but it also feels sort of like stable. It's not as compressive as the Alphafly foams or the Next Percent, but it still feels really quick. So for the fit and feel of this shoe, I'm going to base that on how it just feels when you're running the shoe, what experiences you have, whether you enjoy it or not. I mean, that's really why you pick a shoe, other than sort of the value and stuff like that and what it looks like, is whether or not you enjoy running in this shoe. So when I put this shoe on, I love running in it. I feel in control of the shoe, whereas I sort of sometimes feel out of control when I run in the Next Percent or the Alphafly. I feel like the shoe's taken over and I'm just sort of holding on for dear life. For fit and feel of this shoe, I'm going to give this shoe a 4.5 out of 5. If I want a really enjoyable fast run, this is a shoe that I put on. I just enjoy running in it. So let's dive into durability now. The only little thing that I can talk about in terms of negatives in the durability is a small hole that I have in the upper. But this is my fault. When I was doing a 10-mile run, 10-mile race, as I was going over a curb, I scuffed it, so my foot didn't come through the gate cycle very nicely, and it basically scuffed on the side of the curb. The upper is actually very secure apart from that, so that's my fault. That's my fault for scuffing it. I thought that maybe the rubber on the bottom would wear away quickly. You can see the rods through there, the carbon fibre plate rods. But actually it hasn't. It sort of comes into its own the more you run in the shoe. The more you run in the shoe, the rubber just, I don't know, just develops. It's weird, and you get more grip. I used to think when it was raining that I wouldn't get any traction, or that I'd be slipping and sliding all over the place, but actually it's brilliant. It's sort of like it just sticks to the road. So durability wise, again, this is going to score highly, because I'm not seeing any, I know 60 miles in the shoe at the moment, and I'm not seeing any wear other than being able to see the plates through it, but that's not sort of wearing down. It's just where the rods are so close to the outside. But in terms of durability, as a racing shoe, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5, only because of the hole. Maybe certain other shoes wouldn't have ripped if I scuffed it, I don't know. Okay, so that's the conclusion there for the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro. And as you can see, I think it's an Adios Pro, not an Adios No Pro. I just love running in this shoe. I think it's brilliant, I think it's good value. The total of the scores are going to be here for this shoe. And now we're going to move on to the Alphafly. Who will win? I decide. So now we move on to the Nike Alphafly. Now I must admit, I do really want to love this shoe. I just think I know it looks funky, it looks a little bit space-like, a little bit alien-like, but it's just, along with the Adios Pro actually, they're both very innovative shoes. We're going to go over the specs, of course. So this shoe has, again, barely legal. According to the Nike's website, we have 39mm in the heel, and we have 35 in the front. which gives it a 4mm heel to toe drop. So what does this weigh? This weighs 9.9 ounces in my size 11.5, which is 282 grams. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail giving you the names of everything, but we do have a Flyknit upper here. You've got a lot of space in the shoe, in the toe box, a lot of room. It's quite a wide platform. The upper is very, very breathable, but also quite secure. When you first try and get your foot in it, it's kind of a nightmare to get your foot in there. Once it's in there, it holds it quite nicely. I do really like the laces on this shoe. They just sort of hold quite nicely and they keep the tension there. In terms of the outsole, we have carbon rubber traction here and then sort of exposed foam and then a little bit of rubber here. This shoe, I don't think this shoe does fit too true to size actually. This is size 11.5 and I think it's just a little bit too big. Now I do like space in a shoe, don't get me wrong. That's why I love ultra shoes at the moment. I like my toes to be free, especially with this injury that I've got at the moment. I don't like my toes feeling all cramped. But I just think this has too much room, and the top of the upper actually, not like the width. Say these are your toes, you've got nice width, but it's actually coming up. The shoe just comes up too much here, and I find that a little bit of a problem. So I'm going to say this fits a little bit big. So in terms of the midsole, we have the ZoomX foam, which everybody knows is an amazing foam. It is an amazing foam, there's no doubt about that. I can't argue that, and I don't want to argue that. I like it, I like ZoomX. It feels just so responsive, put with a carbon fibre plate and some AirPods in there, and you basically got a rocket on the end of your foot. This shoe feels like a pogo stick. You just feel like you're bouncing all over the place, flying through the air, drifting past everyone, and it's a nice experience. It is fun to run in, but we're going to go into more detail on that when I score it in a bit. Let's talk about value first. Again, we're going to be talking about value in terms of marathon or just carbon fibre plated race shoes, not in terms of value of a running shoe. So this shoe is £269 on the Nike's website, which makes this the most expensive carbon fibre shoe that you can get. Yes, it's innovative, yes it's Nike, yes it looks cool in my opinion. 270 quid mate, 270 quid! That's mental, let's be honest. We're going to pay it because we're stupid and we just buy into Eliud Kipchoge wearing this shoe and we're going to become the world's best runner in the whole universe. I know we don't really think that, but you know, we think, oh, we need this super duper shoe. I bought it. I'm not having a go at you. I bought it. Don't worry about it. We're all the same. 270 quid is mental. This shoe is a 2 out of 5 in terms of value. Now, hang on. That's a 2 out of 5. Not because you're paying a load of money and it's just rubbish. It's a 2 out of 5 because this shouldn't be 270 quid. Where do we stop? 300 quid, 350 pound? When does it just keep going up? We need to get those prices back down, and we can't be letting everybody know that 270 quid for a shoe is good, is good value. It isn't. So yeah, that's why I'm scoring it this. Sorry Nike, but too expensive. That this shoe does feel fast, okay? So we're not gonna put it down on that. It feels fast, so that's really something that's going for it. In terms of fit and feel, what I really want to get across to people here, and okay, so we've got good points, you know, it's wide in the forefoot up here, it's wide in the heel, we've got a lot of foam that makes it cushioned, we've got a lot of response in the pods and in the foam as well. It's just, it is quick, it is fast. Is it stable? If you're straight, on a straight road, it's fairly stable. If you're going around a corner, is a lorry going around a corner at 60 miles an hour stable? No, this isn't either. You go around a corner, you just feel like you're falling off. The good thing about this shoe, sort of, is that it's got a good lockdown, okay? So it's got a good fit here, a good lockdown. But because your toes are moving about a lot here, it also goes against it. So that sort of causes problems in itself. I've had blisters, I know other people that have got blisters from that. My biggest problem with this shoe, and why I will not be wearing this shoe anymore, and that's definitely not going to happen. I'm not going to run in this shoe anymore because I just keep trying it. It's the middle. it's this bit here. You see how it goes in and in here? It's a weird sensation to describe. When you put your foot in this shoe, in my opinion, it feels horrible. The midfoot, it just squashes your midfoot. My actual foot overhangs where the insole is. That's not because of missizing, because like I said, if anything, this shoe is too big. So it's not because my foot's too big for the shoe. It just digs into my arch, and I'm going to put down the main beginning cause of my plantar fasciitis to racing in this shoe. I know that I'm not alone in thinking this. There are other runners on my Instagram page that have said the same thing, that they won't be using this shoe again. And I've got to say, it's gutting. I want to love this shoe, I really do, especially after paying so much money for it, but I can't, okay? So for fit and feel, I'm going to give this shoe a 2 out of 5, and that's just because you don't want to be injured from running, okay? And although the foam is quite good for protecting your injuries from that sort of thing, the midfoot for me, paired with the stiffness of the plate, it just puts your plantar in a lot of stress there, and it's something that you don't really want. Okay, so in terms of durability, again, we've got a lot of exposed foam here, and we can see a lot of scuffing on this. So as I say, I've done 70 miles in this shoe. We've got scuffing there, and also on the outside, sorry, here, it's wearing down quite a bit. So this is showing a lot more wear than the Adios Pro, okay? So that's why it's going to score less. Durability in terms of the upper is pretty good. I'm not seeing any holes. I'm not seeing any issues there. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 in terms of durability. My total for the Nike Alphafly here, as you can see, there is a clear winner. And I know this is going to be against what a lot of people think, but I'm sorry, this is just my personal opinion. I just think the Adios Pro is a much better shoe all round. I want to absolutely love this shoe, especially after spending £270 on it. I love the colourways, some of the new colourways that are coming out, but I will not be buying this shoe again in any of the other colourways. I don't want to be running in any shoe that's going to be making me injured, okay? The point of where I wasn't be doing it barefoot. A shoe's meant to be helping me stay injury free and get faster. This definitely helps me with the getting faster side of things. But every time I've run in this shoe, over the 70 miles that I've done, I've had a pain in some sort of my foot. I've had pain in the metatarsals. I've had plantar fasciitis now for a long time, and I really do think this is a big cause of it. This is the loser, I'm afraid. The winner of this is a very clear Adios Pro victory. So let me know in the comments, guys. Do you have both of these shoes? Do you like either of these shoes? Do you like both of these shoes? Am I wrong? Am I right? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. I've been Runningman Sam, and I will see you in a bit.